Okay, we're going to try and record this because we are having difficulty with the weather's messing with my internet. Okay, so Jett Williams Award. Obviously, this is the last week, and so it's a regular season award, and it's been really tough, and I guess that's a good thing because of how good the players have been. Lots of learning lessons for next year. Nothing we do is perfect, and so we'll learn some things from this, and then make some adjustments for next year. But where I kind of was is, that top 10. I wanted to kind of go over the last rankings that came out, and on March for the period between March 27th and April 16th. So Landon Cochran, the North Forney outfielder, he the junior, he's been on a tear. I mean, what he did over that 2 week span of batting 647, a couple of home runs, a couple of doubles. He was just really setting himself apart from a lot of the hitters, and that was based on what he's done for the entire season. So we kind of we cross-reference that against what have they been doing all season, and then we look at the competition of play. So as I mentioned earlier before I got cut off, we evaluate who they've played as well. There's no doubt about it. Rockwall Heath and Rockwall, and this is no knock on any of the other teams because I don't know their schedule that well as far as their early season stuff, but I know for a fact that Rockwall and Rockwall Heath, they play some of the best teams, not only in the area or state, but they play some of the best teams in the country, with Five Tool bringing their tournament here in town. I mean, they were playing teams from Mississippi and Oklahoma, California. Some of the top pitchers in the country were brought here, and so I was able to weigh that in early on, and what macros and Braden Randall were doing at Rockwall, Rybach and Kendrick and all those guys, what they were doing early on in the season against the competition they were facing was incredible. It was they were just lighting it up. It got a little bit easier to evaluate once district play started, because Royce City, North Forney, Rockwall, and Heath, those four teams, they're in the same district, so I really could compare the level of talent that they were playing against, and so I was able to kind of determine based off that some of the stats. Dallas Christian was a tough one. They obviously they are a private school, and so really looking at the schedule that they play and trying to evaluate, and quite honestly, the players at Dallas Christian, fair or unfair, it just seems like they had to do a little bit more because of the quality of teams that they were playing. And this is really not coming from, that's not my view. I think if the Coach Chu is being honest, as he was with me, they just don't play the level of talent that some of these schools are playing. So early on, and they still do, they've got guys that are getting it done, on the mound and hitting, but when I was evaluating them, I didn't see any players that warranted being in the top 10 last week, and kind of the same goes for Roy City. They've got some good talent. They've got some, Snow is a freshman who is up and coming. I think he's a freshman. He could be a sophomore, but I'm pretty sure he's a freshman. But they've got some guys coming, and this is the year one of the award. So no doubt Roy City will have their opportunity and their say to be in the running for this award. Number 2 on last week's list was Landry Powell, the Rockwall Heath pitcher. I mean, what can you say about Landry Powell, and I talked about the talent of teams that Rockwall Heath has played. Over that 2-week period, 13 innings, he allowed 0 runs, 19 strikeouts, just 4 hits, obviously a 0 ERA. After last night's performance against North Forney, which was a big win because they're playing for seeding, obviously Rockwall Yellow Jackets, congratulations to Coach Rose and those guys for winning the district title. Well deserved. That's a heck of a team, and they seem to have everything they need to go on a deep run. And so I'm gonna not make any plans until mid-June or whenever that state championship is, because I can see them making a deep run. But what Landry over at Rockwall Heath has been able to do has been incredible, and he was special again last night. We did an interview with him. We aired it. We had a lot of fun with that interview. Appreciate the guys for helping with that interview. That was a lot of fun. But he wasn't even on the first rankings list. I didn't even have him on there. And then really looking at some of the stats, that next one, he got on the top 10, and then I believe he moved up to 5 or 6 the next one, and then this one there, the last rankings that I did about a week and a half ago, there was just no denying it. I mean, he arguably could have been the number 1, but he was definitely deserving of the number 2. And after last night's performance, once again, I had no problem, and this is without me talking to any of the people that I've been talking to about these rankings. I had no problem just announcing that Landry Powell was going to be one of the finalists for the award. So the top 10, remember, there is a top 10 ranking, but only the top 3 will be evaluated to pick a winner for this award. So Landry Powell, I mean, he's just been outstanding the entire year. Can't say enough on him, but he will be a finalist. The next number 3 and 4, Rowlett has 4 guys in the top 10. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but it's not a school that I cover, so I didn't see it coming, just because I know about all the players at Heath and at Rockwall. I figured it'd be littered with those guys, and it is. But for Rowlett to have 4 in there, it was kind of eye-popping, and it just made sense. Coming in at number 3, Emilio Luna. He had a big 2-week stretch there, and then I cross-reference that with what he's been doing the entire season, and it checked out. I mean, what can you say? I mean, he was batting .467. He's fast. He's 12 stolen bases just in the 2-week period alone. He draws walks. He gets on base, and he was just a guy that through his performance and everything that I looked at, there was no doubt about it. He was going to hold it. He was in that 3rd position heading into the final 2 weeks. Number 4, Rowlett again, Douglas Randall. I mean, the guy batted .562 in the 2-week period, 8 stolen bases during that time, along with his RBIs and everything else. I mean, again, cross-referenced it with what was going on during the regular season, and it checked out. I mean, he's batting well over, I think, around .450 for the season. How can you not have a guy like that on the list? And that brought him in at number 4. The next 2, I mean, Mac Rose and Braden Randall sitting, Mac's at 5, Braden Randall 6. I mean, these are 2 big-time guys at Rockwall. Obviously, Mac Rose was, I think, number 1 on our list the first 2 or 3 rankings, and deservedly so. When I talk about the talent that pitching that he was facing, and then what he was doing on the mound as well, it was a no-brainer. It's really hard to say these guys, had an off 2 weeks. I mean, he was still over 300 for the 2 weeks, but that's what gets difficult about this, right? Is we're at this point in the season, what separates some guys, and how do I move them up and down the rankings? And because Emilio Luna and Douglas Randall, Cochran and Powell, because of the stretch that they had, and then how it compared to what they were doing for the season, you had to say, okay, Mac didn't have it for that 2 weeks, and so that's what brought him in at 5. If you've been following these rankings, you know. I mean, I think I've moved somebody up from 7 or 8 into the top 3. The season that Mac has had, if he goes on, and I haven't checked, I haven't looked at everything that's gone on the last week and a half over his last 3 games, but if he were to tear it up, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, he's arguably, one of the top hitter in 10-6A and in Rockwall County, but again, I have to evaluate the play on the field in the moment, and then cross-reference that against what they've done for the season. So Mac certainly still has everything in front of him. Same thing with Braden Randall. I mean, you're talking about 2 big-time baseball players for Coach Rose, and both of those guys have an opportunity to jump into the top 3. Number 7 is another Rockwall guy, and Micah Kendrick. I mean, he bats .579 during that 2-week period, 8 RBIs, 7 stolen bases. He definitely could, with a strong performance during this last run, I could see him jumping up into the top 3. I think all 3 of those guys have a legit shot at jumping into the final 3. With 1 spot already taken, remember, with Landry Powell in there solidified, that leaves 2 spots. So it's going to be really interesting to see. At 8, another Rowlett kid, Zach York. I went out and saw Rowlett play the other night, and he stayed hot. He another hit, and he just keeps doing what he's been doing all season. Deserved to be in at number 8. Number 9, Brady Lattisaw, Rockwall Heath. He's come on, and the Hawks need it. There's really been no secret about it. I mean, their pitching is outstanding. It's arguably the best in the district, and it's definitely one of the best pitching staffs in the state. And if they can get some hitters hot, then you look for Rockwall Heath to be going right where they've been the last couple of years, in the 5th round in that regional final. And wouldn't shock me at all. I don't think it'd shock anybody to see Rockwall versus Rockwall Heath late in the season to decide who's going to go to the state tournament. But Brady Lattisaw, he's been coming on. And then finally, another guy for Rowlett, Connor Hill. This kid looks really good. I've checked him out on Twitter, and some impressive stuff. I really liked what I saw when I went to see Rowlett. He bats .438 during that period. Couple of home runs, 14 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, scores 13 runs. And this is kind of where it got difficult to put in the 10th. Who was going to be number 10. And I'll tell you, between Forney, Garrett Hendricks, and Ben Shepard, Reebok, and then I had Caleb Hoover, and let's see, I'm flipping through my notes here. Crow, I mean, a pitcher last night for North Forney. I mean, he's 6-0, 43 innings, 42 strikeouts, just 6 walks. He's got an ERA of just 1.4. I had a hard time, like, how do I keep him out? But that's the difficult part here. Is I think if you really look at 1 through 1 through 7, they've just been doing it consistently all year, and they've been in that top 10 kind of all year. And so it was really came down to 8, 9, 10, and then I had about 4 other guys that could have slipped in at the 10th spot. And they certainly could still jump in the top 10 here. And I think as this award goes on, and future classes, the 24s and 25s and 26s, 27s, just to be in the top 10 is going to be one of those things where it's like, man, what an honor. But certainly, you to have a chance to be in that top 3, you've got to be consistently in that top 10. As I'm looking at it now, as I'm looking back, and a lot of these guys were consistently in the top 10. And so, with just 2 weeks to go, they needed to make sure that they had a chance, because as you all know, it's baseball. I mean, if you go to the plate 10 times and you only hit 3 times, in the major leagues, that's a Hall of Fame career. 300 is really good. So I'm not going to, really knock a kid out of the rankings or put them out of the running just for having an off 2-week period, because we all know that that's baseball. That said, like I said, we have Landry Powell. He's locked in. He's going to be one of our finalists, and we have 2 spots to go with just Friday's games to go this week, and then I'll really evaluate and ask some people's opinions on who they think should be in. It's really hard at this point. It's really close, and you're really combing through every inch of this thing and trying to see what separates them. And I can tell you, it's very, very small. So hey, at the end of the day, the goal here was to recognize some kids, to highlight some kids, to highlight some programs. And unfortunately, there's only going to be 1 winner. There's only going to be 3 finalists, but that's part of that. But if you just keep focused on, hey, we're highlighting kids here, then I think you'll have appreciation for what's going on. I'm going to put out the 3 finalists and the final top 10 on May the 10th, and from there we'll kind of let everybody know what we're going to do, when we'll do to announce the winner, and finalizing the prizes and everything else that's going to go along with it. So I appreciate everybody watching this. Please leave your comments. Let me know where I got it wrong or where you think I got it right. I have no problem taking some criticism on this. Again, it's a lot to go through, doing the best I can. But at the end of the day, I'm highlighting kids, and that's what Rockwall County Gameday is all about. And so I know that that was important to Jett and his family. I know that's important to our presenting sponsor, Hudson Financial Group. And so, we feel like we're accomplishing that goal, and we feel good about what we're doing here. I appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to looking at all the stats and see what everybody does Friday night. Good luck to all the players out there, and we will talk again soon.